Signs. They're everywhere you look. Some tell you what to do, others tell you what not to do. Still others tell you how to dress, when to walk, and even where to walk. With so many signs all around you, it may seem impossible to pay attention to them all. Sometimes you may be tempted to tune them out, but that can be dangerous. Most people know that companies must post safety signs by law. But the fact is, your safety depends on signs like this one. If you don't pay attention to safety signs, you may not know where the hazards are or how to protect yourself against them. Unfortunately, too many people assume they know all they need to know about safety signs. They tend to take these signs for granted, leaving themselves open for accidents.
More signs, Hank? Didn't I just see you hanging some in my department?
Mine too.
Yeah, and I still have a long way to go.
You know, Hank, I don't think anybody actually reads those signs. I know I don't need them to tell me what to do.
Yeah, you seem pretty sure of that.
Yeah, I am. I know my department inside and out.
Okay. Well, how many safety signs are there in your department?
I don't know, 4, maybe 5.
Actually, there are more than a dozen.
So he doesn't count signs, but we all know what they mean when we see them.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, when you see a sign with an orange background, what does that mean?
Orange. Let's see.
Orange means danger.
No, red's danger, isn't it?
I don't know.
You see, people take safety signs for granted. They get too busy to notice them and remember what they say. They get careless, and carelessness causes accidents. Not knowing what a sign means or ignoring its message can be hazardous. For example, Phil, this is a sign above your machine that says machine guards must be in place before you operate it. Imagine what might happen if you ignore that warning. Signs like this remind people to use their machine guards at all times. It can be pretty ugly when somebody forgets a warning like this. That's why the most important thing you need to remember about safety signs is to pay attention to them. Many accidents could be avoided if everyone were more aware of posted safety signs.
That's fine for these guys, but there aren't any hazards upstairs in the office where I work.
You don't think so, huh? You recognize this sign? It's hanging on the door to the staircase near where you work. Imagine what could happen if somebody ignored this sign.
I see what you mean. Ignoring a sign like that could cause an accident.
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say. It's easy to take safety signs for granted, but you have to pay attention to them if you want to be safe. Hey, Sue,
What?
don't throw out those safety glasses.
Oh, thanks. I'm always losing these things. I just can't seem to keep track of them, let alone remember to put them on my face.
Well, that's why I'm putting a new one of these up in your department.
I never forget to wear my safety glasses.
Well, maybe not, but these signs are meant to protect everyone who enters your department, including people from other departments or even visitors. Imagine someone from the main office stopping by to see you while you were working. She doesn't know about the hazards that are present. If there were no sign...
Okay, so safety signs are important. But why do we need so many pictures and colors?
That's a good question. Symbols and colors can help you save time in an emergency. The more you know, the faster you can react. You must be familiar enough with the pictures and colors to be able to recognize the safety messages at a glance. More and more symbols are being used on industrial safety signs, and the meanings may not always be immediately clear to you. Pictographs and international symbols are intended to give you a quick idea of the hazards you could face in the work area. They're particularly useful for people who have difficulty reading English. The pictures are usually accompanied by words telling you what to look out for, or what precautions you should take to protect yourself. However, being able to recognize the pictures will save you time.
But sometimes they just seem so obvious, so I ignore them.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a reason behind every sign. If a sign seems confusing or you don't understand the necessity for certain precautions, don't just assume you can ignore the sign. Ask your supervisor to explain the reason behind it or why it's posted in that area.
But what about this sign? You never told me what the color orange meant. Does every color have its own meaning?
That's a good question. Each color has specific meanings that can help you recognize essential safety messages at a glance. Now, generally speaking, the color orange stands for warning. These signs identify hazards that could cause serious injury or even death if precautions are not taken. The color red stands for danger.
Yeah, I was right.
These signs identify an immediate hazard that will cause serious injury or even death. Now, red also indicates the location of fire equipment in your department. Now, the color yellow stands for caution. These signs identify hazards that could cause minor or moderate injury. It may also be used to make you aware of unsafe practices. The green signs indicate the location of such safety equipment as eye wash stations and emergency showers. Now, signs with blue on them give general information, including notices about safety rules and procedures. Plain black and white signs normally give housekeeping directions or give directions for forklift traffic. In an emergency, the colors on safety signs could send you in the right direction faster, and that could save a life. For example, imagine what could happen if there was a fire in your department.
Oh, my gosh! Oh, that started. I'll hit the fire alarm. You get the fire extinguisher.
Okay.
I guess if all those signs were the same color, a person would have to read each one to find the fire extinguisher.
Exactly. Well, what if you're colorblind?
Well, you know, safety signs give important messages in a number of ways. Color is just an instant reminder. It's always backed up by words, like danger with red, warning with orange, caution with yellow, and often a picture as well.
What's wrong with you?
Yesterday I piled some books on top of one of our filing cabinets, and I think the fire extinguisher sign is hidden behind them now.
Signs can't work unless everybody can see them. That's why you must keep safety signs clear for others. Imagine what could happen if this sign couldn't be seen.
I'll leave this here for just a minute. It's not in anyone's way. Hey! Hey! What are you doing? Trying to blow us all up? This is a no-smoking area. Didn't you see the sign? I guess we're all responsible for keeping signs clear in our work areas.
And in some cases, that responsibility goes one step further. Sometimes you need to put up your own safety messages to let coworkers know about specific hazards in the work area.
You're talking about tags.
In some situations, you may need to make your own safety message to protect coworkers from harm. Without them, you're leaving others exposed to hazards.
Well, I'm a firm believer in tags. In my department, we make sure to tag every machine that's down. Hey, we watch out for each other.
That's good, but machines aren't the only things you need to think about. There's other kinds of equipment, hand tools, electrical cords, and so on, that you need to keep in mind, too. Imagine a situation like this.
Someone could hurt themselves if they use this ladder. It's just not safe. I'll put it way off to the side so no one will take it.
Help! Joe Smolin! The ladder broke. Get help!
If you can't get a tag, make your own sign. Make sure your coworkers know about the hazards around them. And if you see a tag is worn, torn, or hard to read, make sure to report it. Don't just assume that everyone knows what's wrong. Make sure they do.
Well, that's lunch, gang.
Yeah, time to get back to work.
Now I've got to move those books.
Thanks, Hank. I'll remember what you said.
No problem. Those people thought they knew everything they needed to know about safety signs, but they were taking them for granted. Don't you make the same mistake. To get the best protection from safety signs, remember these points. Pay attention to safety signs. They're posted for your protection. Learn to recognize the safety messages. Make sure you understand the symbols and can readily identify the level of hazard associated with the different colors used in signs. Keep safety signs clear for others. Not everyone who enters your work zone is as familiar with it as you are. Put up safety messages or use tags when necessary. This is the only way you can make sure your coworkers are safe from harm. It's easy to take safety signs for granted, but without them, the world would be a much more hazardous place. Make sure you pay attention to the safety signs in your area and contribute to everyone's safety by posting your own safety signs and tags whenever necessary. As you can see, taking the time to read and heed safety signs can help you and your co-workers avoid accidents and injuries, making your company a safer place to work.